Hey, what's happening?
What's happening, everybody?
Hey.
I
What's
didn't
happening,
realize
my
we
man?
were singing gospel in a church on Sunday. You started breaking it down like
Cause the Lord, He done broke it down for us all, and He's gonna tell ya. And sorry,
he's gonna make us a instrument to pass along the message. I feel a little bit
tell you the
blasphemous.
gospel.
Anyway, one of the last times I was in church, I went to a Pentecostal church on revival night. Yeah. I was in high school. I was not the man I am now.
Lady swinging around her freaking ponytail, hitting people in the eyes.
No, it was the talking in tongues. Now, please understand, folks, I'm not making fun.
I've seen it.
I came home and my mom was like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "I don't know. I think I might have joined some kind of weird organization that I'm not 100% sure what they do or who they are." But I was also a lot more sarcastic. Hey, guys and gals out there, welcome back. This is the Battle Bros podcast with Mac and Alamo. It's Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
The usual time.
Hiya. If you have not joined the show before, welcome to the Thunderdome. If you're coming back and checking us out again, welcome back to the Thunderdome. Exactly. So this is a podcast regarding veteran lifestyle, veteran topics, military topics, whatnot, veteran and military community. But we also extend it to first responders, police, fire, EMS, all those folks. And just if you think it might be beneficial to you, hey, sit down, park your ass, give it a listen. Yeah. We're not going to stop you.
Oh, Free and will, by the way, disclaimer. This here and this here.
That wasn't planned.
No, it was not planned. So
it's all out of just functionality. You get up.
Sadly,
in the morning,
even though we're far apart, we
don't have to
for some reason do the same thing.
Not even consulting. Yeah. So what we talked about doing is we were talking about D-Day last week, or D-Day last week, earlier this week. Excuse me. So the next time
it was earlier this week, yeah.
Yes, yeah, it was Monday. So the next time that we're doing this and D-Day comes around, we're gonna just mohawk it up like those guys from the 101st jumping on D-Day, war paint, mohawk. Hell yeah, it's gonna be dope, man. Yeah. So, what did we talk about last week, man? It's been a crazy week. We've had a lot of stuff going on. At least I did. Service. Talked about service.
Yeah, last week was definitely about
service. Talked about service. Seriously? See, we didn't plan that. We just said the same shit. That's what happens when you're friends for most of your damn life. It's
20 freaking years.
20 freaking years, man.
Wait.
Yes.
21 years.
Yes.
This September.
20 plus. So, yep.
Yep.
So, we talked about service and last week. That was episode 032. But this week is going to be a little bit of a diversion of the usual kind of modus operandi, or MO for those non-Latin language. Not
Yar.
Never mind. If you don't know how to speak Latin, e pluribus unum and stuff, that's mode of operation. Yes. So what we have going on is we are going to actually have a guest host. He's going to be joining us. We're going to have a great conversation about this week's topic for episode 033, which is the mission-focused mindset and why that's important. Okay, so we are super ecstatic to have this person come on the show. You have heard us mention him vicariously many times. He's one of our resources and sources that we use for not only show topics that we're going to discuss, but just kind of get the higher learning perspective, because he is a little bit more learned than the rest of us. No, I am not saying the O word. He is not an older gentleman. He's not far in age off from that, but he does have a college degree in psychology, and he is we're gonna let him explain all that shit. So let's just bring him on the show and bam,
let's do it.
My magic snappy didn't work, So everybody, welcome Brian to the show. Brian, thanks for coming on to the Battle Bros podcast. How you doing, brother?
Doing good, buddy. Thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely. So
Absolutely, man.
for the fans at home, tell us a little bit about yourself. So
Oh boy, like
just Cliff Notes.
you want the
Cliff
you want
Notes.
the you want the grinder tender version, or do you want the
my God, did he really
No.
just say that?
God.
or do you want the nicer Bumblebee version? Bumble,
again?
not Bumblebee.
Damn
I'm
it.
sorry. Yeah, I
Bumblebee.
know, right? Yeah, okay,
Get
listen.
some.
All right. I like long walks in the beach. Okay, I don't like. All right, all right. I like to be cuddled. Okay.
Dude, who doesn't?
Listen,
I
when
mean,
I'm
Jesus.
watching listen, when I'm watching Casablanca, like I want my lady like right here, right with me.
Okay, let me let's get to know Brian, our guest host, real quick, folks. Brian,
Yeah.
have you or will you ever get a pedicure?
Oh yeah.
All right,
yeah.
he's good.
Yes.
Listen,
Nice.
folks,
I'm
Brian's a
saying
made
yes.
man.
I have had a pedicure before. I have 3 daughters, so and one
You
of
got
them
one.
is
You got one
one
up
of
on
them's-
me, dude. So
yeah, one of them's older. So I've done the daddy day, where I've had the pedicure and the manicure.
the daddy spa day. That's all good. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
all joking aside, tell us about yourself, your military experience, what you do now. Just kind of give us a synopsis of that, please.
All right, so down and dirty, right?
Down and dirty.
Down and dirty. All right. So I'm a Michigan guy, man. Right. So Upper Midwest. I moved down here to Florida back in
Spartans or
93.
Wolverines?
Oh, I'm a Wolverine guy, but I'm not a football guy. I'm not. Listen, I'm from Detroit, buddy. So I'm like a muscle car kind of guy. Maybe
Gotcha.
motorsports, right?
Gotcha.
But as far as the Wolverines go, growing up, Red Dawn was my thing. So I got to go with Wolverines, man. Right?
I was referring to Michigan State, and you just went woo in a whole nother direction. But those Wolverines are good too. Wolverines.
Oh yeah, man. All right. So
All
anyway,
good.
so
It's all good.
so fast forward to September 11th, right? So I'm a knuckle dragger working at an auto parts store. Things went down the way they went down on September 11th. By December 20th of 2020, I'm sorry, by December 20th, 2001, I raised my right hand and I enlisted. I enlisted in Army National Guard as 11 Bravo infantry guy. And I kid you not, man, I graduated June 6th, the Army's birthday. And in December, Christmas Eve, my unit was called up for active duty. And I want to say by February, we were in the country of Jordan in preparation for the invasion of Iraq. So did that, had fun with it. It was cool. Then there, I got the t-shirt and all that kind of cool stuff. Walked to Baghdad, all that kind of cool stuff, man. Wasn't too high speed, But I would say I filled a lot of sandbags in Baghdad. We'll just leave it at that, right? It was a lot of fun, right? No, it was good, man. It was good. We did our job. Did our job. And then like a lot of reservists and guard members, I came home and went back to work, man. Did hurricane duty down here in the state of Florida. And then I actually ETS'd in 2007, December 20th, 2007. And man, around April, I got the itch. April 2008, I got the itch. And I ended up.
No, folks, he's not talking about communicable diseases.
No, jock itch was there, but we're not talking about that kind of itch, okay? Like I still use the monkey butt powder for the jock itch, okay?
Oh my gosh!
All right, so 2008 now in April.
This is already in the running to be one of the best top 3 shows yet. Just throwing that out there.
Man, I haven't even talked about.
No, but just
the really hardcore.
It's a vibe, baby. It's a vibe, man. It's all good. So
good, man. Good. I'm glad I could help with the vibe here. Not the vibrate, but the vibe. But anyway, so anyway, moving forward, man. So April of 2008. So listen, man. I like the Guard and Reserve, so I ended up I got back into the reserves. ended up in aviation unit. I joined just to work on helicopters, man, but the unit stood up a medevac unit here in Clearwater, Florida. And I was lucky enough, by blind luck, man, to get to fly in the back of Black Hawk helicopters as a crew chief. So I deployed to Afghanistan in 2001. I'm sorry, I said 2001, didn't I? In 2011, deployed to Afghanistan. I was in the Balar Magab River province. And sorry, man, my computer's doing some funky stuff right now on me. Deployed to Afghanistan. Bear with me 1 second, man. My computer just did something crazy here. All right, so I will let you know.
Like they say all the time, fuck it, we're doing it live. Hey.
Damn right.
There we go, man. Hey, listen, dude, I was 11 Bravo, man. Don't forget that, man. So, like, my knuckles still dragging on the ground. I don't know. I get some freaking McPhee jackass decided just to pop up on my computer. But anyway, so 2011, deployed to Afghanistan, northwestern part of Afghanistan, for medevac operations. So I did did 9 months there, and came home, and I broke myself pretty good in Afghanistan. I ended up busting a vertebrae, which was awesome.
Ouch.
I completed the deployment though. Yay me! Where's my thumb at? It's over here. I gotta find the camera, right? So yeah. I'm not talking about sitting and spinning either. All right.
Whoa.
All right. So
We don't claim this one, folks.
So busted a vertebrae in Afghanistan. How? I don't know, man. I mean, in between, helping carry patients to scoot my ass off of the deck of an aircraft that was 6-7 feet up in the air, with 50 pounds on my back. It just happened. So came home, had four back surgeries, one knee surgery, and I'm gonna have to go here with this. But so they did surgery on both my hands. All right, I did a lot of stuff over there. But anyway, so I ended up having surgery on the hands, and was diagnosed with PTSD. I fought that, man. I fought that hard, tooth and nail. Went to the VA. They hooked me up. Battled some alcoholism. In the midst of all that, I found a love for the mental health field. So I was asked by one of the members of the treatment team at the VA to come volunteer and work with other veterans that were returning from Afghanistan and Iraq. And I did that for a couple years. I ended up getting a certification out of it. I'm a state of Florida certified peer specialist. And then, I took full advantage of my post 9/11 GI Bill and the VA's voc rehab program. Ended up with my master's degree. Hey, listen, for all you that's out there, you see these? There's tons and tons of scars because my knuckles drag on the ground. Man, I tell you, if I can do it, anybody can do it, right? You just got to put your head to the ground and study a lot, all right? And have somebody to help edit your papers like Mac. But anyway, so academia and I became good friends.
Let me interrupt you real quick. I got to add something on that. There's a lot of times, folks, so I would come over to Brian. He'd be like, hey, man, come over and help me edit this paper. So I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at this word, and I'm not making fun of the fact that he's from Michigan. Okay, I'm making fun of. I'm drawing attention to the fact that he would be doing papers literally all day till the wee hours of the morning, and I'm looking at him going, I don't think that word means what you think it means, man. So had to kind of just go over some stuff and be like, okay, yeah.
I had to break out the dictionary a couple times, man. Yeah.
The thesaurus.
Yeah, and the thesaurus, yes. That's a good one too. The thesaurus is a fun one to play in. Oh, but so with Mac's help, man, and some other friends, helped me edit papers and stuff like that. I ended up edumacated, which, man, I tell you, I would have never thought that would ever happen, right? In between being a saw gunner and pretty much a gearhead. But I got my degree, man. I got my master's degree in psychology with an emphasis on counseling. And now I work at a substance abuse treatment facility as a therapist. working with vets, civilians, first responders. It's a dual diagnosis treatment facility, so that means that we work with people with substance abuse issues, addiction issues per se, and mental health issues. Everything from bipolar disorder to narcissistic personality disorder to schizophrenia. So that's me in a nutshell, man. And again, though, like I said, I do like walks on the beach. I like to be cuddled at night, especially when it's cold. I like foot rubs. I'm also
Sweet,
single.
sweet,
Okay,
sweet, sweet nothing. Jesus,
yeah,
man.
I'm also single. I'm in the market. All right. So you could your little chat
You
box
you
or
see?
whatever over
Okay,
there.
so
We can advertise.
you
We
see
can
why
advertise.
we
Yeah.
you see why if we get emails, hey man, can you send Brian my contact info?
Yeah, I'm rocking the dad bod too, man. I'm
Congratulations.
not like a meathead, man.
Battle
All right? I'm
Bros
not a
just became the
meathead, so.
Battle Hose dating service. It's like just fan freaking tastic. I'm like,
Dude, you just call me a hoe, man. I'm referring.
I think he kind of did. I'm gonna. Yeah.
I heard
just
that.
it's because I'm Irish. I'll say
informed,
just a
Ivy,
wee bit, just a wee
Okay.
bit. Anyway,
Just a
so
wee
you
bit.
can understand,
Just a wee
folks,
bit,
why
just a wee bit.
you can understand why we are fortunate to have Brian here. There we go. This guy. You can see why we're very fortunate to have Brian kind of as an unofficial member of our podcast team because he draws from a very vast amount of experience, both collegiate life, military, because you ended up becoming medically retired, I believe.
I did. I did
You
medically retire in 2018.
Medically retire, so you got that going for you. You've got your college experience and everything else. So this is why he's a very good source for a lot of different stuff, and hopefully the beginning of many appearances on our show. So
Did you just
Yeah.
wink at me? I think that was a wink. He
I
just
winked at the
me.
camera. I'm winking at everybody, dude.
All right.
Calm yourself.
So yeah.
Anyway, so
I do appreciate that. I will make as many. I just lost the word. I will make as many appearances as I possibly can. How's it? There
especially
we
since you're throwing yourself out there like I'm single. I like foot rubs.
go. I do. I am, and I do like foot rubs.
And Max got my contact, and Max gonna be, sorting through to make sure I don't get any of you crazy people. So anyway, so what's gonna happen tonight, folks? What we were talking about, the subject that we're gonna talk about tonight is the mission focused mindset. And we're gonna talk a little bit about that. But what Alamo and I are gonna do is we're gonna totally hand over the reins. Him and I are gonna hand over the reins to this guy. He's gonna pretty much direct the conversation, and we're just gonna kind of interact and kind of be viewers and listeners along with you. So with this guy being so good at talking, we're going to let him talk a little bit and kind of go for it.
All
So,
right. So let's
Brian,
run
we're going to
with
hand
it.
over the reins, and we're going to run with it. So let's
Outstanding.
do this.
All right, guys. So let's think about how we're conditioned and indoctrinated in the military. Okay, let's take it back. I know everybody likes basic training stories, right? But let's go back to basic training. Okay, and think about what they're instilling in us. So the military has the job of taking a civilian from all walks of life, from all types of socioeconomic environments, and it's their job to train people into becoming a military member, whether they're in the Air Force, Navy, Air Force. I said Air Force twice. Navy, Air Force, Marines,
Space Force,
Coast Guard, or whatnot, and Space Force. Yes, thank you for that. Yes, I'm sure they have cappuccinos in basic training. But anyway, I digress.
Oh,
yeah,
they got those Cliff bars, man.
Hey, they're fair game now, man, and I tell you, they are.
Welcome to the force, guys.
Yeah, welcome. Hey, welcome to the party, pal. Right?
Welcome to the DoD, there, baby.
Yeah, welcome to the party. All right. So the military again, man. So it has their objective is to train us to do our job in the military, and our job in the military is for two things, right? We secure our nation and the interests of our nation. And the second thing is we fight wars. All right, pure and simple. People tend to forget about that nowadays, right? Even though we're at war for 20 years, it's our job to fight wars. So we're completing the mission is very much part of of our of the conditioning process, and being taught that that mission has to be completed regardless of the weather, regardless of who's got a boo boo, right? The mission has to be completed. There's no exceptions. Okay, and through that conditioning process and the indoctrination process per se, is we develop what I call the mission focused mindset, and in everything that we do, and in every way that we think, we're in some way in preparation to complete a mission. Okay. And if you think about even a training mission, it's still a mission. And that mission, it's no different than being overseas. Okay. And the stress level that we're put under, and the op tempo is supposed to mimic that of a deployment. That way when we go on a deployment, our nervous system really doesn't change too much, outside of the fact that there's some really bad stuff going on, right?
And that's that whole saying about train like you fight. So when you fight, it's like training.
Right. That's right. Train like you fight, right? All right. So we're going back to the mission focused mindset. Okay. So when I think about a mission, or I'm sorry, when I think about the mission focused mindset and think about a mission, all right, it's hard not to think about like an op order or something like that, or a fragmentation order, or a warning order, or whatnot. Before we can go there, so what's a mission? What's the definition of a mission? All right. So according to the good old fashioned internet here, so we could look at a mission in two different ways. We could look at it in the context of the military, and we could look at it more of a broader definition. Okay. So in the context of the military, a mission is any operation that is assigned by higher headquarters. Okay. As far as in civilian life, right? The definition is a specific task by which a person or group is charged with completing something. Right? If you think, just about every place that you walk into now has some type of mission statement, right?
Okay.
Right. So now going back to the whole mission planning, let's think about what's involved in mission planning, right? As a young Joe, as an E3, if you're in a good unit, right? They trained you pretty well, and they helped you understand what goes into preparing for a mission. All right. So let's just start with this at the base level. All right. Think about the preparation, all right, that we go through to complete a mission. Right? You have to be intellectually capable. You have to be trained up on whatever your equipment is. All right. You have to be learning how to read a map, talk on a radio, use your weapon system, or whatever other piece of equipment or vehicle or whatnot that you're used to complete that mission. Okay. Now let's think about physically. All right. There's physical standards for a reason, right?
To be able to accomplish a mission, yeah.
You have to be physically fit if you're in the military, because there's no telling that you might wake up one day and you may have to go E&E, or you may have to run up the side of a mountain when you're at 10,000 feet above sea level, or even higher, 15,000 feet above sea level. So your lungs have to be, they have to be conditioned, right? Your body has to be conditioned, right? You have to have muscles, right? You got to be able to carry 40, 50 pounds of gear in your back, plus your fire, or plus your weapon, plus your base combat load, plus your extra water. All right. Our boys, in Afghanistan, those guys were humping mountains with 80 pounds of gear from head to toe. Right. And 12, 13,000 feet above sea level. Right. It takes a lot of conditioning, right? A lot of physical conditioning. But as well as I do that the physical conditioning is only part of that, right? If there's so much conditioning that's done with the mind. That's another reason why basic training is so hard, right? The first couple weeks, right? They're breaking us down. They're building us back up. They're teaching us that, our mind can break a lot faster than our body can, right?
Yeah.
Our body can be pushed so much harder than what we think, right? So I want to hold right there really quick, all right? Now I want you in the audience to really think about what I said right there, right? So we're conditioned and we're indoctrinated to push our mind and our body harder than it's ever been pushed before. Now I know some of you guys out there were athletes before you went in the military, all right, and I get that. Some of us weren't, right? Some of us, we literally, because of September 11th, right? By the way, like most of the other service members, when we had the draft, right? We went from our 9-to-5 job or our factory jobs or whatnot, and we enlisted. Very few of us were athletes. Okay. So within 8 weeks, if you're a regular soldier, or 14 weeks, if you're a Marine or an infantry guy, right? I don't want to exclude the Navy and the Air Force and the Space Force that I'm sure you guys are about 6 weeks now, sitting in the recliner, getting pedicures done. But anyway,
Shots fired.
Fired.
yeah, right. Exercise the thumbs. Anyway,
I got medical profile.
I know, right?
It's so messed up.
The joystick
Yeah,
got
man.
jammed.
The Osprey pilots, man. So that Osprey aircraft, man, that whole thing's like controlled with the thumb, man.
Yeah.
Like on those cyclists, yeah. But anyway, I went off on a weird tangent there. I got ADD, man. It just happens. So
Welcome
I know,
to my world.
Exactly what I was doing, man. So anyway, it's important for us to remember that, though, man, that we have it in us to push our minds and our bodies harder than we've ever thought we've ever been able to before. Okay.
Yeah.
And we're also conditioned to endure an extreme amount of stress. And a lot of us thrive in that environment. We really thrive in a high stress, really high up tempo environment. Okay. And for that reason, when we get out, we tend to flounder. All right. We tend to get bored. We tend to lose sight of what our future might hold. We go through what they call an existential crisis. Who am I? What am I?
What am I doing here?
What am I doing here? How did I get here? Right. So it's really important for us to find our way back to somewhat of a good homeostasis, right? And for us, usually that means having a purpose and feeling fulfilled. Okay. And that's probably one of the most important things. What do you guys think? You're both are Joes, man. You guys have been out for a while. All right, Alamo, I know you're active duty and stuff like that, man. Mac, we all deployed. What do you guys think?
Go ahead, Alamo. I'll take second.
I can't help but agree 100%. Because honestly, when I left active duty and I came back home and I started doing the whole college thing, and it just wasn't working out for me. Like there was a new kind of stress for me. Like it was more kind of like I've got this going on, but nothing. It's almost as if like you're over there and you're consistently on such a high with like where your levels of like, for anything from like adrenaline to just like where you're that heightened state that your mind has to remain in while you're in combat. You get back home and things are so relaxed. It's hard to adjust. It's not like a switch where you could just turn it off or turn it back on. You know what I mean?
Right. And let me hold you really quick right there, Alamo.
Yeah.
All right, man. Let's talk about what you just said, man. when you're overseas on deployment, like your brain is poised for the shit, right? I mean, you're ready. You're ready, and that's what we're trained for, right? It doesn't matter, man. If you are a communications guy or an admin guy or a finance guy in a fob somewhere, it's always in the back of your mind that fob could be mortared. It's always in the back of your mind that somebody could breach that gate and wreak havoc on that fob, and it's happening.
Yeah.
Right? If you go back, a lot of some of your listeners might not even realize, man. There were Seabees. There were Seabees, man, in the middle of the Afghan desert, right? That had a little cob and got decimated. Right? People don't think of Navy personnel in the middle of the Afghani desert. Right? So it
Had
doesn't
some where
matter.
I was at, so
Yeah, it doesn't matter where you're at, man.
Most of my
I hear all
was
this
Navy.
BS, man, about when you went overseas, it was a vacation. You just sat on the fob all day and you just played Call of Duty. And that very well may be true, man. I mean, in between medevac missions, man, my guys, most of our missions were at night. So if you didn't sleep during the day, you were just relaxing because your night was probably going to be hell. You're probably going to be up all night, right? We're freaking entitled to do that stuff, right? So the point is, man, where your head's at, it's not like you're back here sipping a freaking beer in the back porch, right? You're hoping to God that some idiot, some suicide bomber or something like that doesn't wreck the front gate, or some knucklehead doesn't mortar you, right? Or, if you're one of those guys that was doing route clearance, driving from fob to fob, getting blown up by IEDs, or even in the green zone in Baghdad, getting lit up or getting hit by an IED or whatnot. Right? That stuff happened, man. So going back to what you just said, our brains, man, and our nervous system, it's kind of rewired when we're over there, right? Our fight and flight is always on. And that puts us in a position for like adrenal fatigue. I'm sorry. There's guys that have come home with PTSD that they were never mortared, they were never shot at, but because of what was going on around them, and it scared the living hell out of them. So, all right, man, I'll give it back over to you. I just had to make that point.
No worries, man. That's what you're here for. But yeah, like again, like kind of like how you were saying, it's not like a switch. You know what I mean? So for me, it was really difficult to kind of adjust, especially like when I'm in college and I'm hearing all these. And at the time, I think I was 23, 24 when I got home. So, in all honesty, when I got into college, I can honestly say that I probably lived more, not to kind of put these other people out, that were, going to college around the same time as me, but I felt like I lived more and experienced more than they had in the short time that they had been outside of their home. You know what I mean?
Of course, man.
And
yeah, I can understand that.
It was difficult for me because I would hear, "Oh my God, like I'm so this and that," or like, "Oh, dude, did you hear what this? Did you see what's going on here?" And like they're complaining about all these kind of, in my mind, like frivolous things. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, dude, like just a few months ago, like buddies of mine were blown up in a building, or just a few months ago, like
I didn't wash my ass for a whole month of Sundays.
I literally was bathing with baby wipes. The shit you're complaining about is the shit you're complaining about is like, are you like, is this what we've come to?
Man,
that's where I was.
you might as well say it right the way it is, right? It seems very insignificant compared to what we've been through.
Yeah.
It feels very insignificant, man. And then that kind of, correct me if I'm wrong, that causes some resentment.
Yeah. I would say, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And honestly, it made me leave college. I
Really?
couldn't. Yeah. Especially like when the classes I was taking just weren't all that fulfilling. I was still trying to figure out who I was, where I'm at. I'm still trying to figure it out. But I think I'm further along now than I was back then. But
Shit was that?
I don't know.
Sorry, dude.
No, but like I said, I'm further along now than I was. But back then it was just like, dude, like I don't have the patience for this. Like,
Right.
I can't sit here and listen to these people complain about things that they're complaining about, and you know what I mean? Because like I had one kid ask me, and this is in college, like you went to Iraq, huh? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, I heard you guys go through a lot out there. Are you okay? Like, are you fine?
Was
What
it
the hell
was
is
that
that supposed to mean?
was that question coming from a point of sincerity and genuine concern, or was it just like he was thinking something funny to say? In your opinion,
I honest to God felt like it was more of a like, should I be worried about you? Should I,
Right.
like move to another seat? That kind of
Mhm.
thing. And it really just really struck a really bad nerve. Like hearing him say that, like struck a really bad nerve. And I was just like, and outwardly I was like, yeah, I'm fine. But inwardly I'm like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, no, right?
Um,
Like, who the
so
hell are you to even have this conversation with me?
yeah, and it just really bugged me. Like the only like I ended up moving seats, and strangely enough, the guy I ended up moving seats next to ended up being a vet himself. He was actually engineer and was actually able to do his job before EOD was, you know, essentially, tasked with taking over the job that the engineers were doing for the duration that they've been doing it. Um, and he experienced some shit too, man. And he was like, yeah, dude. Oh, that guy. I was like, yeah. He was like, yeah. He asked me some shit too. I wanted to fucking stab him with my pen.
Right.
He's like, oh.
Right in the fucking eyeball, right?
And I was like, yeah, it made me feel good.
Yeah.
He's like, don't worry about him, man. I was like, yeah.
God.
But it was that kind of mentality. You know what I mean? I don't know. It just I couldn't deal with it. I didn't have the patience for it. I just didn't. I really didn't. And it bugged me. And it threw my focus off for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, and I could relate, buddy. I mean, I ended up finishing though. I got my master's and stuff like that, man. But it wasn't without a lot of heartache, a lot of stress, a lot of bitching to Mac. Yeah, man. I mean, unfortunately, the only thing that civilians see and understand from see and understand what we go through is through social media or the news,
Or the movies.
or the movies, and
Thank
none of
you.
it is an accurate depiction of exactly what's going on, man. And they don't understand that there's so much emotional stuff there that's going on that we're conditioned and indoctrinated to suppress. We're not really allowed to show emotion, right? We have to internalize it.
Yeah.
So all those missed birthdays of kids and Christmases of kids and all the funerals that we're not allowed to go to, man, we just got to eat that shit, right? And then by the time we get home 6 months, 8 months, a year later, everybody else has moved on,
Yeah.
right? So for us, it's kind of fresh, and then we're still trying to process the shit that we just went through, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they have no clue, man. They have no clue. You know, it's no fault of their own, but they don't, right? And that, unfortunately, man, that causes a disconnect and it separates us from them. Unfortunately, man, and that causes a lot of division.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, yeah. Mac, man, you look like you got a lot to say over there, buddy.
No, I'm reflecting.
He's ruminating.
I'm
He's
pontificating.
ruminating.
I'm pontificating.
Gotcha.
So,
Gotcha.
let me look at that word up real quick. I'm just messing with you.
All right.
No, so what you were talking about, Alamo, excuse me, you had mentioned earlier talking about, being over in country, kind of in that mission mindset of anything can happen anytime. It's not so much a switch. It's kind of like a circuit that just gets hardwired into your brain. Like it's always there, because you don't really, because it pretty much stays on for 9, 12, 15 months. I mean, the only time it doesn't is maybe when you're flying home on leave and whatnot, and then it kind of gets gradually ramped up and locked into that on position as you get further back in the country to your home unit and stuff.
Yeah.
So there is that, but I will say, because like being, I now that I think about it, and you said it a minute ago, like having that stress, because you and I used to work together in a very stressful retail environment where we were a busy department of we worked in firearms retail. We worked in the range department. So we operated the shooting range of this particular retailer that we worked at. And like, we were popular. Like we were a busy store. And like, I realize now after you just said that, it's like, yeah, it wasn't that bad. But at the same time, it's like, when you stay busy, you stay engaged, you stay focused, your brain like turns into a supercomputer. You're amazingly able to process just an ass ton of information, keeping track of this, keeping track of that, just like you just constantly, when you're able to just get to that point of just taking all of it and it just all just kind of lines up and makes sense. And you're just like, okay. And you look at other guys and they're just sitting around like twiddling their thumbs and stuff, kicking back at the sales counter. It's like, must be nice. But I'm like, my day's going faster. I'm staying gainfully employed. I'm staying engaged mentally. So it's like, all right. So yeah. And there's been other times where you just sit at home and you don't have a lot going on. And you're just like, I'm going to crawl out of my damn skin. Like, holy crap. I need to get up and do something. And I know that both of you guys can, probably have that notion before. You're just like, I don't know. Like,
I don't know what to do with my hands.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Drives have we going on?
Oh yeah. I mean,
Oh, buddy. Through
Yeah.
2020? Oh, yeah.
2020 last year as well. I mean, mind you, things were a little bit different in a financial
Yeah.
sense, but that's neither here
Yeah.
nor there. But yeah, I mean, just going for drives all night. Plus, you also had a Jeep too. So
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
Made a big difference. So, man, I just want to kind of caveat off of what Mac was just saying about being at home and isolating, man, per se, or whatnot. And so let's talk to your listeners, man, that are out there that, some of you guys are retired, man. Some of you guys that are 100% disabled and you're collecting a paycheck, man, which is good. You got it, right? Man, but how do you feel right now? All right? How much alcohol are you drinking? Now, how much weed are you smoking? All right? All right. So professionally, I work with the addicted, community that's addicted. First responders, law enforcement officers, judges, believe it or not, nurses, doctors, lawyers, veterans, and so on and so forth, man, with addiction issues. So this is kind of a big thing for me. Plus, I'm in recovery, man. It's been like 3.5 years. Mac knows I don't drink anymore. I was a boozer for a long time, man. But my life kind of revolved around alcohol. Everybody in my life was drinking, right? All my buddies, Mac, right? Mac and I were in the same unit for a while. If you didn't drink, you got peered out. You had to drink. Got into the aviation community. It ain't no different. All right. So alcohol is very much part of our culture. Okay. And a lot of us.
would that, instead of it being a DWI, would it be a FWI, flying while intoxicated?
You know what? I can't. I'm not going to say anything. There ain't no telling who's watching this podcast, buddy.
FWF, flying while fucked up.
I would never have ever known any lieutenants that have drone while intoxicated or flown while intoxicated. Never, or crew chiefs for that matter. That would never happen, right? But you know, hey, listen.
Hold on a minute.
Yeah, go ahead, bud.
There we go.
Whoa.
Thud, thud.
What that was. Yeah, right.
That was my fist on the table, like thud.
Yeah.
There is no wink, wink.
Yeah. But I tell you, man. Again, though, so let's just be real here, right? So you know, when my family talked to me about drinking years ago, you know, my answer to them was, "This is who I am. I've kind of earned this right. It's part of my culture, right? I'm not going to stop drinking. This is who I am. This is how I deal with shit. Right? Nobody's ever going to tell me on Memorial Day or Veterans Day or 4th of July that I'm not going to be able to drink a beer, or on Memorial Day specifically. Nobody's ever going to tell me that I'm not going to be able to drink a shot and smoke a cigar. Right? To mourn my
Pour
brothers.
one out to my dead homies. Yep.
All right, to mourn my brothers and sisters, man. And that's the kind of attitude I had for a long time, man. But I'll be honest with you, it kind of bit me in the ass. All right, be straight up, right? It's no disrespect to the lost, right, or to our culture. But for me, I was an alcoholic, right? So I had an addiction issue. Okay, and these are you know who I'm talking to right now. All right, if you drink all day, if you drink all night, all right, or listen, man, if you can't go to bed without being intoxicated because you can't go to sleep because you have untreated PTSD and untreated trauma and other stuff going on, you really need to think about that. All right. So there's 4 things that I talk to my clients about, all right, that are really important and that'll change your life if you listen to me right now. And you really think about this, okay? You want to talk about the mission-focused mindset, all right? I want you to be truthful to yourself. If you're drinking too much, if you're smoking weed all day, if you want to disconnect from reality, you really need to think about what your quality of life is, and not just your quality of life. I want you to think about the quality of life of your family, specifically of your children and your spouse, or your caregiver or your loved one. All right. What kind of quality of life do they have? All right. A lot of us, we don't want to acknowledge the fact that we have PTSD, or we don't want to acknowledge the fact that we have mental health issues going on. Right. It's been beat into us. All right. That it's taboo to even talk about emotions, that it's even
suppress.
Yeah. Suppress. It's taboo to even mention that I have anxiety, to even mention I have nightmares or depression or whatnot. I tell you guys, I'm 44 years old right now, man. If somebody would have grabbed me by the ear 20 years ago, right, and said, "Hey, man, you just did a deployment to Iraq. You lost a buddy, right? At some point in time, you got the shit scared out of you. You may want to talk to somebody." Right? And oh, by the way, you know, drinking a 12-pack a night or half of a bottle of Jack Daniels a night probably isn't very healthy. But nobody did it. Right? Either people were afraid to say anything or they just didn't say anything. All right? Inaction is action. Okay? Inaction is action. Okay? Man, I wish somebody would have said something to me 20 years ago. My entire adult life would be completely and totally different. I don't want to make your podcast about me preaching about not drinking, right? But it's not about that, man. It's just about your well-being. I don't want you to think about drinking. I don't want you to think about the whole mental health thing. Let's talk about mission readiness. All right? How ready are you for the next mission? And that next mission should be you bettering yourself as a human being and your quality of life and your family's quality of life. That's your next mission. Right? For some of you guys, man, like myself, I have a spine injury. I'm not going back into the military. I'm not going to Ukraine to fight, man. I'm lucky If I take my kids to an amusement park after 5 hours, I'm smoked and every bone in my body hurts, man. The days of me running around with 40, 50 pounds of gear on and a firearm are over. So my mission is to be a dad. Right? My mission is to be a therapist. And because of that mission, right? I have to be both physically and mentally tough, just like the mission that I had when I deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan. Right? There's no difference in those two. I still have to be physically fit and mentally fit, right? But that starts with acknowledging what you got going on. And that's the first step. That's the first step, right? Because if you can't acknowledge what's going on, then you really need professional help. All right? You really need professional help. And listen, there's a reason why when you go to AA and stuff like that, they want you to acknowledge that you have an alcohol problem or a narcotic problem, right? Or an opioid problem. Because they want to hear you say it. They want you to acknowledge it, that you have a problem. And you're willing to accept it. That's the big part of this. Right? So let's talk about mission readiness, guys, right? So you're a squad leader. We're gonna throw a scenario out here. You're a squad leader and you're looking at your squad. All right. Let's just say you got to go kick in doors. Are you going to evaluate your squad before you go on that mission? You're going to make sure every single person in that squad is tight and frosty because they have to have each other's backs and they have to be competent in their job and they have to be focused. And if you think about that, and if you think about mission readiness, again, and mission-focused mindset, you can still have that mission-focused mindset as a veteran, but you just apply it to your life. You apply it to your life. All right. So who's in your squad, who's on your team is probably the most important, right? Let's talk about your environment too. All right. Let's think about our environment. So if we really think about it, our environment has a lot to do with our mood and our behavior. All right. Now, most of us, man, we could sit our head anywhere, right? And go to sleep. Okay. But if you're in a toxic environment, and we all know what a toxic environment is, right? If you're in an environment where when you go home, that you're in fear of your life, that's probably not a good environment for you to be in. If you're in a neighborhood or an apartment complex that you're worried that your car is going to get broken into every night, it's probably not a good place to be in your mind, right? It's not going to help your mental health or your hypervigilance because you're going to be frosty all night and the entire time you're in your house, you're going to be on edge. You're going to be waiting for shit to happen. It's not a healthy place to be, man. And I know that, especially this day and age when gas is $4.85 a gallon, and housing prices are double what they used to be. We can't just up and move, okay? But you have to start preparing. You have to start thinking about, is the environment that I'm at good? Is it a healthy environment for me and my family, or just me? All right. Same thing with the people in that environment or the lack thereof. All right. Let's talk about those people in our environment. Now, I know back in the day when I couldn't get a hold of Mac when I was drinking, I went to the next best place. I went to the bar because everybody's happy to see you at the bar. You'll have strangers that are
where everybody knows your
right,
name.
Man. Yep. So you'll have people buy you drinks. There's always women at the bar, right? You always have somebody to talk to. All right. Then you'll always be entertained. I guarantee that. All right. That sounds fun, man. Right? I had a lot of good times at the bar, but I had a lot of really bad times at the bar too, right, Mac? Had a lot of really bad times at the bar too, right? You know, imagine somebody that's not, we don't even say PTSD. We'll just say that they're hyper vigilant, right? They're on edge and they're really sauced up, right? Then you got people doing what they do at bars. At the end of the night, they're intoxicated. They're making an ass out of themselves. There's always bar fights at the end of the night, right? There's always some kind of confrontation or something like that, or you end up talking to some cock diesel dude's fucking girlfriend, and then that goes south, right? Yeah.
So let me put you on hold for a minute, Brian, because I just thought about something from my personal military experience that I wanted to get your opinion on. So you mentioned earlier about the unit culture, a lot of different units, drinking is part of the culture. So I kind of realized when I was in that unit, I couldn't go ham. I couldn't go hard as a motherfucker like some of these people. I couldn't go hard in the paint or so on. So what I ended up doing was I ended up just kind of being the DD. So, which I didn't mind doing because I wanted to make sure my guys got home safe. Do you think that could have been, I could misconstrue that, or they could misconstrue it as I'm enabling that behavior out of them?
Man, so it's very much part of the culture, and it's very normal. It's just like going to college, man. Right? Just like going to college. I'm going to say no because you're in the culture, you're in the moment.
Right.
Now, if you had a buddy of yours that you knew was an alcoholic and you knew they shouldn't be drinking and you were still taking them to the bar, then yeah, you're enabling their behavior.
Okay. I
You
got
follow me? But
a little bit, quite a big difference in context there.
Yeah, quite a big difference, man. And now if you if it's duty weekend and you and the boys are going out, that's what we did, right?
Didn't exactly help that my old unit the armory had a liquor license, so it's like,
yeah, I remember you saying that. Yeah.
Bad Boys of Bravo, woohoo, represent.
Yep.
Anyway, so
man, listen, guys, I don't want to be all doom and gloom, man. I'm trying not to focus just on a negative, but for what I'm talking about right now, man, it's important just for people to check themselves, right? I want people to check themselves.
You want them to exercise a little bit of accountability.
Let's be real, man. Right? Yeah. Some self-discipline. Talk about mission focus. Talk about mission focused mindset, right? You have to be responsible for yourself, and that includes your behavior. That includes your physical health. That includes your mental health. All right? It's extremely important, right? I really want to be able to help people put themselves back in control of their life instead of just running on autopilot. Because a lot of people, man, they don't have a purpose and they're not engaged and they don't feel fulfilled at the end of the day. So they wear the same clothes for a couple of days. They don't bathe. They don't shave. They don't brush their teeth, right? They wake up and they reach for a beer, or they wake up and they reach for a glass of liquor. All right. I deal with this shit all day, guys, every day, right? We've had colonels in our facility. I've had Navy SEALs, right? It's the same thing, the same MO. It doesn't matter if you're a private in a National Guard, right, or a high-speed ranger, right? It's the same thing, man. It's the same MO, all right? So you have to hold yourself accountable, because if you stop holding yourself accountable, right, then you stop caring, and then you become hopeless. And once you stop caring, you become hopeless. That's depression. That's depression right there, man. And we're not even talking about the anxiety yet, right? We're getting there, okay? We're getting there. I just want some of you guys to wake the fuck up, to be honest with you. Wake up and enjoy life. All right? Some of you guys are collecting a paycheck, man. Enjoy that shit. All right? If you need help, get it. All right? The VA is a good resource. Okay, I know you guys don't want to talk about that shit, but the VA is, man. And there's other resources out there. If you don't want to go to the VA, you got the vet center. If you don't want to go to the vet center, there's somebody in your community that you can find that specifically works with veterans and first responders or trauma.
Alamo, I feel like we've heard all this before. Maybe
Oh boy. Yeah.
we'll talk about it here at the end of the show. This is sounding vaguely familiar.
Interesting.
Man, so another thing I want to touch on really quick is isolation, man. Right? I want to talk about isolation really quick. So listen, you want to talk about a brain sucker, right? A life sucker is isolation when we isolate ourselves. I've worked with guys that first they isolated themselves in their home because they didn't want to go out into society. Right? They didn't even want to go to Wally World, man. They didn't want to go get a gallon of milk at Walmart, right? They're like, no, I don't want to deal with society. I don't want to deal with people. They're rude, they're inconsiderate, they're unpredictable, right? There's no control. I don't have a squad to go to Walmart with. I don't have a battle buddy, right? I hear that a lot, right? So they isolate from maybe their house, right? Their house becomes like their fob, right? And then they feel like their house is compromised because they may have an awkward neighbor or something like that. Then they retreat back to like the garage so they can tinker with shit and they can clean their weapons and stuff. And then they retreat back to like their couch and their bedroom. And a lot of these guys, man, they end up completely and totally retreating back to their bedroom. And that's their life. Right? And they make their bedroom kind of like this little fortress, like this little bunker. And that's where they live. And that's their existence. I want you all to think, if this is you that we're speaking to right now, I want you to think about your quality of life right now. I really want you to think about your quality of life. Even if you've isolated yourself to your house. Right? What is your quality of life, man? Are you living? Can you really say you're living? Because you earned a lot more than that. Right? Especially if you're isolating and you're getting fucked up all day and all night. And you can't even remember the night before or the day before. Because you either don't want to experience shit that's going on in your head, or you're to the point now where you can't suppress the emotions because they're coming out like a fire hose. Right? There's no better day like than today to get that shit addressed and to start working on yourself, right? Right? Again, going back to a mission focused mindset, man, you're the one who has to be in charge now. Right? You got to be in charge of you. You got to take the reins of that shit. Right? I'm telling you,
in charge of the fire team of you.
Yes, in charge of the fire team of you, man. You gotta control that shit, man. You know. So again, being truthful to yourself it's so important. Be truthful to yourself in every way. All right. Think about the environment that you're in. And that goes for your work environment too. Right? If you're freaking miserable at work, right? Nobody's going to say that Brian's telling them to leave their job, but I just want you to reevaluate your environment, your home environment, your work environment. Reevaluate it. All right? Do you feel fulfilled? Do you feel like you have a purpose? Most of us, unless we're helping somebody, unless we're supervising something, and I'm not talking about like a carpet store. I'm talking about you're helping to save lives or something like that. Most of us don't feel fulfilled. So you got to think about how you can put yourself in a position to feel fulfilled at the end of the day. And you know as well as I do, you can't just flip a light switch, right? There's no such thing as, making this shit happen, overnight or anything like that. This ain't fucking Burger King. You can't get it your way, like right now. Right? But if you work at it, it'll happen. Guys, it took 6 years 6 years of schooling to get where I'm at right now, but I worked at it diligently, and I didn't stop, regardless of how bad my days got. All right, I just pushed, and I pushed because I took all my training from the military, and I kept a mission-focused mindset, and I embraced the suck, and I pushed my way through school. And like Alamo said, man, I dealt with some shithead students. I dealt with people that made me very uncomfortable. I dealt with professors that made me very uncomfortable, right? But during those times, man, I remembered the asshole NCOs I had, the pricks, the narcissistic. We all know the narcissists that are in leadership positions, right? And I kept
Yeah, no
reminding
kidding.
myself, I'm like, if I'm able to push myself through that, where they're in complete control, I sure to hell can push myself through school, or I could push myself through this shitty ass job until I found another one, right? All right. But again, going back to the who's in your environment or the lack thereof, right? There's a lot of us guys, they refuse to hang out with civilians, man. They do. They have no respect for them. They don't feel like they have a connection to them or they can identify with them, and I get it. But they think the same thing about us. You got to remember that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But how many of you guys, how many you two, and then, because I know myself, I don't know my neighbors' names. I say hello to my neighbor. I don't know my neighbors' names. How neighborly are you?
I can't say that I know my neighbors' names either.
Hi,
if you needed,
neighbor.
If you needed something,
Yeah.
you rely on your neighbor. Really think about it. If you needed something, can you rely on your neighbor? I know growing up, the Karrases lived next door to me. There's Amy Karras and Craig Karras and Jeff Karras, right? And then Rob and his wife, can't remember his wife off the top of my head. And then I knew the people across from us, right? I knew my neighbors 30 years ago, right? It's important, right? Guys, we're social creatures by nature, right? And if you don't want to associate with your neighbors or whatever, man, listen, there's a lot of different veterans organizations out there. The VFW, you got the American Legion, you got AMVETS, you got the DAV, Disabled American Veterans Association, right? You got all these different little clubs that have popped up, all these little like motorcycle clubs and stuff like that, and car clubs, and my God, I mean, there's a club for everything nowadays, man, right? But you got to seek it out.
I can vouch for that because I didn't. The one thing that you say when you talk about clubs and that kind of stuff is when we went on that ride, we went with that Jeep group up in North Florida, up in
it was in
Ocala
Ocala
National Forest. Yeah, it was up in Ocala National Forest, and there was like 50 freaking dudes out there with Jeeps just rolling around through the woods. And then the other time was when we did the thing at the Florida National Cemetery in Bushnell, where we had all the Jeep people come out and they laid wreaths on all the graves of the tombstones and grave sites of people that had paid for it and stuff. And like that was like 100 Jeeps, and people just took all these boxes of wreaths, and that place was done inside of like an hour and a half, 2 hours tops. Mm-hmm. Like, it was like ants coming out of a friggin' anthill, just they went everywhere. It's just like, holy shit. So yes, 100% what he's saying, it's gospel. Boom.
I'm gonna say it like this. A wise woman once told me, you change your circle, Mac.
Change your life.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I happen to know that I agree with that, too, man. So
yeah. So. Yeah. Change your circle, change your life. I like that, man. Yeah. Yeah. But listen, man, again, I don't want to be all doom and gloom for some of your listeners, man. But listen, I'm just being real, man, right? So there's so much positivity that comes from a mission-focused mindset, okay? Right? Again, that's holding yourself accountable, right? That's getting back in charge, being in charge of you, right? Setting goals, setting small goals, small achievable goals, that you know you can complete. That way you can move on to bigger goals. Right? But being prepared again, guys, being prepared for that mission, being physically fit, being mentally fit, all right, being at the top of your game, being at the top. Imagine what life would be like if you were at the top of your game in whatever you're doing. Right? If you only want the responsibility of fucking scooping ice cream, then be the fucking manager of that ice cream shop. Right?
Hell yeah.
Be at the top of the game. Come up with some new fucking ice cream. I'll eat that shit. Right? All right.
We're,
But the point
we're
is,
gonna
man,
we're gonna have some spinach and mint ice cream. What do you think?
oh, dude, why? No, man. Oh,
Alamo,
You know what-
mute your
what-
fucking microphone, dude.
you know what
No.
you just did right there, man. Though somebody that's watching this is gonna make that shit, and they're gonna be millionaires.
you
And you're
know?
just gonna be like, "Oh, I should shut up."
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
You should.
Right.
Anyway.
So one last thing, man. One last thing is boundaries, right? Is boundaries. So there's many different types of boundaries, but I want to talk about two. There's porous boundaries and there's rigid boundaries. Okay. Porous boundaries means that you'll pretty much share your life story and allow anybody to come into your life and not even check them. Right? You'll meet somebody at the bar, and then 10 minutes later, you're telling them about your childhood, and then you're offering them to take them home, or because you're lonely. Guys that are lonely have porous boundaries. All right, they have porous boundaries or zero boundaries. All right.
By the way, for those of you that can't understand what Brian, he's saying porous. He just has a little bit of that Michigan accent. So
I said porous.
you said porous.
I said
Like you're
porous.
saying-
You got fucking Florida
Why-
ears. That's what
Why are
you
you
got.
saying Porsche?
What?
What's this guy saying Porsche
I have-
for?
I can
What if I'm a Lamborghini kind of guy? Ah.
I can articulate my words high speed. But anyway, I love you, brother.
I'm
I
gonna
do.
have to pull out the video.
As Max says, I have mush mouth at times.
I'll explain that story in a minute, folks. We'll
Yes,
explain it when
yes.
we're doing the outro. So,
But anyway,
rigid,
man-
rigid boundaries.
So going back to listen, when you're lonely, you don't have boundaries, and we tend to people please. All right, it's because we want a connection. We want to be around people, and usually when people are lonely, they enter into toxic relationships because they latch onto the first person that says hello. Right, and that's how we end up in toxic romantic relationships
No,
that
makes
take
sense.
a ton of time. We spend a ton of money on them, and they usually it's just a train fucking wreck, right? It's a train wreck, right?
As Brian says when he was working on the Jeep and something was going wrong, a lot of ass pain on this one.
Oh, fucking lot of ass pain, dude. Oh man, so much ass pain, dude. Ass pain without any CLP, buddy.
Oh,
Ah,
Yeah, ass pain
nice.
with CLP, man.
terrible.
So what healthy boundaries look like, man? Healthy boundaries are when you keep people in their place and they only know just enough information about you just to kind of know who you are roughly, right? Now, months, years down the road, that's different. Yes, people usually kind of get to know each other. But again, you just meeting somebody and you're like, yeah, man, I got this shit going on. I got PTSD. I had a spine injury, and I was touched when I was a little kid and all this other shit. And you've known them for 15 minutes. And people see that shit. Predators see that shit, and they know that you're vulnerable, and they latch right onto you, and they take advantage. And especially if you even think about fucking mentioning that you have benefits from the VA. Guys, you would not believe how many veterans I work with that have been taken advantage of because they lead with the fact that they have compensation. People look for that, man. People are looking for people like us because they know they can get benefits. Keep that shit in the forefront of your fucking mind. All right. Anyway, if you're mission focused and you're thinking about the future and you're thinking about your well-being, life could be a lot different for you. But you got to remember that shit. All right. I'm done preaching for tonight.
No, it's all good. Listen, man, I was expecting this to be a little bit different, and it was different for sure, but it was a good kind of different. Like we hit on some really good topics.
You're never going to let me on the show again, are you?
No, are you shitting me, dude?
We got
You've heard a TED Talk. Here's the Brian Talk.
Hey, listen, man, I'm really passionate about our population, brother, man. And
I
there's
get it.
so many people out there suffering, dude. And it's like nobody fucking talks to anybody like this anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no NCOs grabbing some fucking private by the ear, being like, shut up and just fucking listen for a minute.
Yoking them up, going, do what the fuck I tell you to. Exactly.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Or
But
fucking
if-
lieutenants.
but- and-
Lieutenants
and-
need to be fucking told what to do. Sorry.
And here's the thing with that too, is if anybody can be that brutally honest and downright blunt, it's our population.
Yeah, it is, man.
It's our group of especially like veterans in general, but especially like GWAT veterans, like the three of us. Like we're some awfully wrong sons of bitches. Like we're not quite right in the head. You know what? We accept that.
Right.
We move on. And it's like,
I don't think it's very hard for us to be blunt. I think is where we're trying to get at.
No, not at all.
It's not very hard for us to be blunt at all. Like it's like,
So-
oh yeah, see that guy over there? Yeah, he likes to stick his thumb up his ass. What? Like, yeah, you didn't hear about that? He likes
what's with the extreme examples tonight here, guys? Like
I had to throw it out there, but that has happened before.
Okay, don't be weird.
Whoa, wait, what? What?
I mean, yeah, we'll just leave that be. Well, guys, this is a show that gets us banned off everything. So
Yeah, pretty much.
this is where, it all-
Oh,
this is
God.
where the
man.
House of Cards
Listen,
came crashing
this is-
down.
I'm just working my way into your whole fucking podcast, man. Oh, buddy, just wait till I really get going.
Oh man.
So just to recap, ladies, he's single.
I
And
am
he can
single.
yeah, and then we figure all this
Wow.
out. No, but all BS and all joking aside, I was unfortunately not in the production meeting last night because I had some stuff going on. I was helping a friend, get his
He's
mother
like,
moved up and whatnot. And
being a lazy bum.
no, I was moving. I was helping somebody pack their mother on a U-Haul truck.
Okay, so he was being an unlazy guy.
up.
I
Negative.
was helping somebody with their mission. So why don't you just Eddie's that horse shit? Hua. Anyway, freaking yeah, exactly.
Whoa, did
Well,
you
it's on.
just say hua?
I
Did
said
you just
hurrah.
say hua?
Absolutely.
What the
We
fuck
don't give
over?
a shit on this show, man. What the fuck over? There we go. No, but like I appreciate the fact that we had a very blunt, sincere conversation, and it was kind of nice just to sit back and just let somebody just be like, okay, we're gonna take direction, and I'm reacting to it as people are listening to it. So
Yeah.
it was kind of refreshing. I mean, this is going to be a show that I'm probably going to go back and listen to again and again and again and again.
I appreciate
It's like
it.
the first like 10 views of 100 are probably just going to be this guy. So, but no, man, I appreciate the fact that you took the time to come on here. Don't consider it preachy at all. I just again the fact of it's a real hard fact. Like you said, the first thing you talked about was just being truthful with yourself, and some people don't have that accountability yet. And then, with our podcast, if we can use this platform to help people get the help that they need, so fucking be it. That's what we want to do.
Matter
we're
of factly,
we're gonna talk about that here in a second.
Sometimes helps.
You know what I was gonna say too? You guys are the perfect example of a mission focused mindset.
Stop. You're just being so nice. Stop.
Stop. I know.
All right, give me some more. Give me some more.
I want you to think about what I just said, man. Just think about what I just said, right? You guys are the example of that, right? Right? You both sat down one day and you said, you know what, man? I have this vision. I have this vision,
This guy.
right?
He tagged me along. He's just like,
He tagged
"Come
you
on,
along. Well, Danny, man, I have this vision, and I want to take the reins, and I want to take control of my life, and I want to try something, and I'm
I
gonna
want to do a
put my foot into
podcast.
it. I'm
How
gonna put
hard
my
can
foot
that
into
be?
it."
They sent a monkey to fucking space
I know, right?
in the 60s.
In the 60s, no less.
When a computer was the size of this room.
Right?
And still had less computing power than modern phones.
And nowadays, if you send a person to space, we should have them land and have everybody dressed up like monkey suits. So it's like Planet of the Apes, and Charleston Heston's going,
Damn,
I knew it! Damn
they
apes!
destroyed it.
What the fuck over? So guys, man, so when you start talking about narcissism, right? You know, we all know how like a narcissist is a fucking prick, right? He's a dirty little scoundrel bastard prick, right? So but narcissists
hitting a lot of
usually
colorful
have-
adjectives tonight. I'm really
Yeah.
liking this. Yeah.
So narcissists usually have a little following, right? They usually have their little fucking entourage, right?
They're cronies.
Well, those cronies are fucking called flying monkeys, man.
Oh, no shit.
They are. Yep, they're fucking little flying monkeys. Man. Those are the ones that'll go around. They'll help spur all the rumors and character assassinations and shit. Those little bastards are flying monkeys, man.
They're doing the work for
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, trying to get back on track because
No, you're good. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I agree.
No,
Sorry,
no,
folks.
it's all
but
good.
when you have a whole bunch of guys that are ADD, and then,
You've got
used to-
three different guys that were knuckle dragging bastards. All right,
Yeah.
so it's like you get why we all get along now. It's like, you're absolutely correct.
It's like,
It's
so
just-
yeah, and then it's like we have to really try and focus on the community. And do you remember that time I threw a grenade in a freaking washing machine? How fucking funny was that?
I
Whoa.
flashbanged a guy in a porta shitter.
That would be a funny story.
Oh, I wish. But anyway, Brian, again, I like the message you had. It's
Yeah,
just the whole, like, I'm seriously, because when you're in the moment doing this, you're just kind of reacting to it. So now that I'm able to, when it gets online, I'm going to go back and watch it and just really kind of soak in the fact that I'm sitting here just listening, going, huh? But
Just
no,
really
I
absorb, the whole
absorb and
conversation, yeah.
just kind of pontificate over the message. But listen,
Appreciate it, man.
thank you so much for taking the time out on a Friday night, for being on our show. We really appreciate it. And yes, we are definitely going to be calling you back because we're gonna have the talk, the talk with Brian again. So
Outstanding.
that's gonna happen. So that might be a regular thing. But thank you so much for coming on the show, man. We really appreciate it. We're gonna start to wrap this up because we're already at an hour and 23 minutes, and it's getting late. So
No worries.
but we're gonna put you on the back for just a minute, and we're gonna close this out, and then we'll talk to you in just a minute. But thank you again, Brian. We appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much, and keep doing what you do there, buddy.
No worries, man. I appreciate you having me out here. And
Absolutely.
listen to your viewers, man.
There's always one more thing.
Yeah, to your viewers. All right, think about what I said tonight, man. Think about what I said. You only got one life to live, man. And you ain't getting no fucking younger. That's it. I'm done.
That
Hey,
means- Brian,
See you in a
thanks,
little
brother.
bit, brother.
We'll see you in a little bit, man.
All right, brother. See you.
nice.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
Yeah.
All right, so that being said, we're gonna do the outro now.
We're gonna
So-
do our thing.
We're gonna do our thing. So as we talk about every time, the purpose of this show was to bring attention to issues with the veteran community, topics that come up, but it's also to honor a friend that we lost. There were some issues that he was going through, and unfortunately chose to solve a temporary problem with a permanent solution.
Yeah.
And we don't want to wish that on anybody because it's all about this right here: 22 a day. That's usually the average number of veterans that commit suicide, and that's
Unfortunately.
a lot, and that sucks, and it's way too many. So what we want to do is help combat that number, and the way we do that is we talk about something that we came up with called the Bros Code. And what the Bros Code is just our little 4 tenets, our little mantra that kind of help you keep yourself in the fight, keep yourself here, so you can tell others your story. You can kind of keep driving on and going forth and bringing your influence and impact into the world. So letter B, be tenacious. Like Brian was saying earlier, go and do the best job you can. Being a parent, being a therapist, being a soldier, whatever the case may be, do it to the utmost ability that you can. Don't go through things and half-ass them. As I saw a great meme, don't half-ass two things, whole-ass one thing. I think it was Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec, I believe, and I'm just like,
oh man,
yeah, I'm gonna start using that shit for real. Okay,
yeah.
whatever you do, do it to the fullest. Take no prisoners. Go out and be the best you can be. Not to quote the recruiting commercials from the 90s. Be all that you can be in the army. R, refuse to surrender. Great example. I'm going to use Brian again. So, there were some obstacles that came up. You having, shithead students that were in the classes and professors that didn't always, agree with your whatever your case may be, or just kind of give you that resistance and that kind of bumpy road on the path to success. Okay.
Yeah.
Like you said, it was a 6-year process to go, and having me come over and edit papers and just reading, I'm like, what the hell were you trying to say here, dude? You're tired. Get some damn sleep, bro. Like, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. We've done that plenty of times. Just being able to get out there and help each other out and whatnot. Refuse to surrender, no matter what the obstacle is. Whatever may be causing you to double guess yourself or think about the choices you've made. Fuck all that shit, man. Just keep going until you hit the finish line. As soon as they wave that checkered flag, that's when you can just be like, all right, cool. You can stop, or you can say, all right, what's next? What are you going to choose? Oh, obliterate your obstacles. No matter what happens, there's going to be things that come up. You're going to have to deal with students that just aren't in touch with what's going on. They just may have not the best intentions for asking you, hey, are you okay? Yeah, I ran out of Gold Bond, but I'm okay. I got this crazy itch going on. You got any Gold Bond? So, whatever happens, man, the obstacles come up. It's what were you gonna say?
Deodorant balls?
Shh. Nobody needs to know.
Shit.
OPSEC and COMSEC is in effect. But like you said, there's obstacles that come up. Sometimes you got to go around them. You got to go over them. You got to go under them. Sometimes you got to go straight through them. Sometimes you knock it down by driving a striker backing a striker into it. And sometimes you blow the shit up by using some C4 shaped charges and Bangalores.
Striker.
Right. Cool. Make it happen. Whatever you got to do. Obliterate those obstacles and get through it. Lastly, S, seek out a friend in time of need. And that can take the many different forms, many different shapes, whether it's talking to somebody at the VA, talking to somebody at the vet center, talking to somebody that was in your units, one of your old service member friends, somebody that knows what you went through, because they might be there. They might be further along in their journey to recovery or their journey of coping or whatever that looks like. People, like Brian said, we're social by nature. Use people, okay? In a good way, use them for help. Don't use people use them and throw them in the trash and stuff. That's not what I meant there.
Yeah.
But use people to that benefit. They're a great resource. If I got something going on, I call somebody and I talk to them. I'm like, hey, man, here's what's up. I need some help. In the event you don't have somebody you can talk to, there are options out there. There's a National Suicide Prevention Hotline if you're thinking about harming yourself, okay? You can always call that number. It's open 24/7, 365. Phone number is 1-800-273-8255. Again, that's 1-800-273-8255. Okay? Don't ever feel like you have to be alone. Okay? If you're starting to isolate, like Brian was talking about, and you're turning your room into the bunker or like the fallout shelter from the 1950s, might want to start asking yourself some hard questions, having that accountability. Do I need help? I need to seek somebody out. And that's what we want. Everybody that served has a story to tell. Everybody in general has a story to tell. Okay, we can't all be freaking heroes and get up in our dress blues with the Mameluke sword on top of the fucking mountain slaying the dragon like in them old school Marine recruiting commercials back in the day because they're badass. Those blues got more guys into
Badass, dude.
those guys got more those commercials got more guys in the Marine Corps because of the blues slaying the dragon, just the sword and stuff, man.
Yep.
But listen, everybody should be here. We don't want you to lose out. You have one life to live. Make it matter, and live it. Don't cut yourself short. Don't cheat yourself out of that full experience. Okay, we want you here. We want you to hear your story, and we want to hear about you. Okay, so the other thing I'm going to add to that weekend safety brief. It's probably not a good idea to marry that stripper. Just saying.
Correct.
It's probably not a good idea to buy that car at 25% APR.
Correct.
Just saying, okay? If you're getting some help, call your buddies. MP show up, run your ass off. That's all I got.
That's right.
As you were, I'm gonna hand it off to here.
Now,
So
while we're on the subject of being in contact with people, guess what? You can contact us on any of our social medias. That's you can contact us there on the Facebook over at facebook.com/battlebros.podcast. You can also contact us at the Instagram at _podcast, battlebros_podcast. Excuse me. Also, we do have an email you can contact us with as well, which is battlebrospc@gmail.com.
Alma, hold fast.
Yes, sir.
For those folks that are going to contact us about Brian, please put in the subject field. What should we put? That's an important question. What should we put?
Reference.
Reference.
Episode 033.
Just put beautiful Brian in it and we'll know what you're talking about.
Yes, there you go. Put beautiful Brian in there. There you go. Also,
or Wolverines. Wolverines works good too.
Wolverines.
So.
Yeah, you can put Wolverines in there. The damn it, I lost what I was saying. But yes. Anyway, yeah. Also, I almost forgot to actually add that part in there. On the Facebook, you can actually click on the link down in the area where it says "Contact Us." You could click the little green icon where it says WhatsApp. We do have a WhatsApp, and we will respond to any messages that you send to us on the WhatsApp. It might be just a little bit faster to get us on the WhatsApp than probably all the other platforms, but hey, we're not going to be shy about it. We're not going to shy away from any kind of message that we get that includes Facebook Messenger as well. So if you ever run into a rut where you feel like you can't, find anybody or anything like that, shoot us an email, shoot us a message. We will come back to you, and we will make sure that we try and just talk to you and see how you doing and be the good old battle buddies that we're just. Yeah, damn right.
Outreach.
We are, as the Battle Bros, your other battle buddies. So don't hesitate, man. Don't hesitate at all. Also, if you want to.
We have Instagram too, right? Don't you have Instagram?
Yeah, we got Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff.
Do
in the description, by the way.
Do we don't have a TikTok yet, right?
TikTok and Twitter, both I am actually researching. I want to make sure how the guidelines work on those platforms.
So for those of you that haven't seen this week, we made Alamo made a post earlier this week where he did the Sprite challenge. Yeah, just go watch that shit. I'm not gonna tease it. I'm not gonna ruin it. I'm just go watch it. You judge for yourself. So, please continue, my good man. Nope.
Yeah. So, also, while we're on the other platforms, if you want to catch us via audio, you can do that over on the Anchor app, where you can find us under Battle Bros. And if you want to go ahead and support the show and help it grow, see what I did there? You could go ahead and do that over on the Anchor.
Rhyme.
Yeah, you could go ahead and do that over on the Anchor app. you can go down to the support button right there on our page, and you can click that and make your own personal donation. That can be anything from 99 cents all the way to whatever kind of custom donation that you feel like. We're not asking you to do it, but it is appreciated if it's done. Also, you can catch us on the Spotify. You can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Amazon Music, which was more recent, Castbox, Pocket Casts, and Radio Public and Stitcher. That's a lot of platforms right there. That
Basically,
that's a lot.
To double tap what my man said, just search Battle Bros Podcast. You'll find us on the internet.
Dang
Check
right.
it out.
Also, you can catch us on the Rumble. Go ahead over to rumble.com where you can catch us on there under Battle Bros.
I want to
And-
make sure we
yes.
specify it is Rumble, not Bumble, like
That's
somebody
right.
mentioned earlier. So
Yeah, that's right.
a little bit of
Rumble.
a difference. Rumble.
And you can catch us there. You can catch us there as well. Obviously, you know, in case anybody's ever wondering what the hell Rumble is, it's essentially an alternative to YouTube, where you know you really do actually get paid at a certain amount of views for your video content. Plus, they're not as restrictive. I'm trying to keep it PC because I don't want them to flag us. But anyway, so
it is an alternative to YouTube viewership.
it is an alternative. So
I'm the
anyway,
guy you
like I
come to
said-
for the PC stuff. Boom.
correct. So either way, if you like what you guys see, always remember to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you share, because now that the YouTube has changed their algorithm again, sharing is caring, and sharing gets the message out there, and it helps us get recognized better.
The only reason we want recognition, folks, is to pass our message along. There's
correct.
you know, especially with what we talked about tonight, you know, I really like the fact that Brian spoke to our potential viewers watching this or listening to this, right?
Right.
So it's not always about us. It's about our community. So you might know somebody that might need to hear tonight's message or any of the other messages we've talked about. Pass it along,
even if
word
it's
of
a
mouth.
civilian friend, man.
Yeah, anybody.
These messages are not restrictive. These messages, this content that we put out is for everybody. It can work for anybody. Anybody can
It's-
go through this stuff.
It's focused in our community,
Correct.
being the veteran community, but it can apply to anybody.
Correct.
So
And
that's
that's really
important.
all I got, man.
That's muy importante.
That's right. That's
Muy
all I got, though. So coming up next week, we're gonna have some fresh new content for you. We hope to see you guys there. And as always, we like to say we love you guys. We love when you guys join us here on the show. We've been missing out on you guys. We've missed you guys. So please try to make sure you show up live, because then
Do
we
the
can actually have some
chats
conversation.
and stuff, because then it just kind of
Yes.
helps to add a little bit of flair to the show.
It adds a little bit of flavor. But other than that, man, we don't really have anything. Mako, you got anything?
No, I'm good. But I would just want to take the time again to thank Brian for showing up, for being on the show, for giving us a message that he gave today. Thank you for everybody. If you came by and checked us out for the first time, hopefully you liked what you heard. If you came back and saw us again, we appreciate you coming back and hanging out with us on a Friday night. There's other things you could do, but if you're spending time with us, hey, we are very appreciative and humble of that, and we just want to say you guys are fucking awesome. So thank you so much. We will see you again next week, same time, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. Friday night. This has been episode 033, Mission Focused Mindset of the Battle Bros Podcast with Mac and Alamo. We just want to tell you guys, remember, don't marry the stripper and don't buy the car with the 25% freaking interest rate, because that's no go. Other than that,
That's right.
as you were, and carry on.
No gonorrhea herpes syphilades. Battle Bros out.
Take it easy.